wake up on the first day of the month with fire in your chest, the alarm rings at 5:30 a.m. And for once, you don't hit snooze. You rise, not because you have to, but because you want to. You've written down your goals. You've pinned them above your desk. You've told your friends this is the year everything changes. You feel it, the electric hum of possibility crackling through your veins. You're ready. You're committed. You're unstoppable. And then day 12 arrives. The gym bag sits untouched in the corner. The journal gathers dust. The morning pages you swore you'd write remain blank. The fire dims. Not all at once, but quietly, like a candle smothered by invisible hands. By day 30, you're back where you started. Maybe worse, because now you carry the weight of another failed attempt, another broken promise to yourself. And you ask, not for the first time, why does this keep happening? It's not because you lack willpower. It's not because you're lazy or weak or unworthy. It's because you were never taught the truth. Motivation was never meant to last. Motivation is the spark, not the flame. It's the match that lights the kindling, but if there's no fuel beneath it, the fire dies before dawn. And that's exactly what happens when you rely on fleeting emotion to carry you through the long, dark tunnel of transformation. You confuse inspiration with infrastructure. You mistake the surge of a new beginning for the substance of sustained success. But real change, the kind that reshapes destinies, isn't built on motivation. It's built on something far deeper, a system of belief, clarity, and relentless alignment with a vision so vivid it pulls you forward even when your legs ache and your mind begs you to stop. Napoleon Hill understood this a century ago when he spent 25 years studying the minds of the most successful people on earth, from Carnegie to Edison, from Ford to Roosevelt. He didn't find a secret formula whispered in boardrooms. He found a pattern, a rhythm of thought, action, and inner conviction that repeated itself across industries, eras, and circumstances. And at its core was this unshakable truth. Success begins not when you feel like acting, but when you act despite how you feel. So let's go deeper. Let's dismantle the myth that you need to feel motivated to succeed. Let's rebuild your foundation, not on emotion, but on architecture. Because what you're missing isn't more willpower. It's a why so powerful it becomes your compass, your anchor, your engine, even when the storm rages. First, confront your mental landscape. Your mind is not a passive receiver of thoughts. It's a battlefield. Every day, two forces wage war within you, the voice of limitation and the whisper of possibility. One says, you've tried before, you failed. Why bother? The other murmurs, what if this time is different? What if you're closer than you think? Most people never realize they have the power to choose which voice they amplify. They let circumstance dictate their inner dialogue. They let one bad day rewrite their entire narrative. But the masters of achievement, those who turn vision into reality, do something radical. They curate their consciousness. They guard their mental space like a fortress. They know that thoughts repeated become beliefs. Beliefs repeated become identity. And identity repeated becomes destiny. This is where your motivation dies, not from lack of effort, but from lack of mental sovereignty. You allow doubt to sit at the table of your mind as an equal guest to faith. You entertain fear as if it's offering wisdom when it's only echoing past pain. But Napoleon Hill didn't call it positive thinking. He called it autosuggestion, the deliberate daily practice of feeding your subconscious mind with clear, emotionally charged instructions about what you intend to become. Not wishes, not hopes, instructions. You don't say, I hope I'll be successful. You say, I am building a life of impact, abundance, and purpose, and every action I take aligns with that truth. And you say it until your nervous system believes it, until your habits obey it, until your reality reflects it. But belief without clarity is just noise. You can want success, but if you haven't defined what it actually looks like for you, your energy scatters like light through a cracked prism. This is why so many people burn out chasing vague ideals. More money, better health, happiness. These are destinations without coordinates. Napoleon Hill insisted on definiteness of purpose, a crystal clear picture of what you're building, down to the texture of your days, the quality of your relationships, the legacy you leave. Without this, your motivation has no target. It flares up, then dissipates, because there's nothing concrete to aim for. Close your eyes right now and ask, what does my ideal life look, sound, and feel like, not in 5 years, but in 5 months? Can you see the morning routine, the workspace, the conversations, the problems you solve for others? If the image is blurry, your actions will be too. Clarity is not a luxury. It's the blueprint your subconscious uses to navigate uncertainty. When the path gets dark, it's your clarity that glows like a lighthouse, guiding you through fog and fatigue. And from clarity emerges vision, not just a goal, but a calling. A vision that doesn't just serve you, but serves something greater. Hill discovered that every enduring success story was rooted in a desire to contribute, to solve, to elevate. The moment your ambition shifts from what can I get to what can I give, your energy transforms. You stop relying on external validation and start drawing power from internal alignment. You realize that discipline isn't punishment, it's devotion. That showing up when no one's watching isn't sacrifice, it's sacred. Because here's the secret no one tells you. Discipline is love in action. It's the daily choice to honor the future version of yourself you're becoming. It's choosing the hard thing today so the easy thing exists tomorrow. And it's not about perfection, it's about persistence. You don't need to be flawless. You need to be faithful to your plan, to your values, to your word. Even when motivation vanishes, discipline remains. It's the quiet engine that runs while the world sleeps, while doubt whispers, while others quit. And action, real, consistent, imperfect action, is the bridge between who you are and who you must become. Not grand gestures, not viral moments, just showing up day after day, doing the work that matters. Because momentum is built in the mundane. In the 5th rep when your muscles scream. In the 10th draft when your creativity feels dry. In the honest conversation you've been avoiding. Action isn't glamorous, but it's generative. It creates evidence, and evidence builds belief, and belief fuels more action. This is the flywheel of mastery. Yet even the most disciplined path requires gratitude, not as a cliche, but as a strategic reset. Gratitude isn't denial of struggle. It's recognition of progress. It's pausing to acknowledge how far you've come so you don't lose sight of your strength in the midst of the climb. Hill knew that a grateful mind is a receptive mind, one open to opportunity, resilient in adversity, and magnetized to abundance. Because what you appreciate appreciates, and when the unexpected hits, and it will, you'll need adaptability. Not rigidity disguised as discipline, but the wisdom to pivot without losing your core. The market shifts, the body ages, relationships evolve, the rigid break, the flexible transform. Your vision stays constant, but your strategy must breathe. This isn't failure, it's refinement. Which brings us to resilience, the art of rising after falling, not because you're unbreakable, but because you've decided your purpose is worth the pain. Resilience isn't innate. It's forged in the fires of repeated effort, in the quiet decision to try again, just one more time. And in that trying, you learn, not just skills, but self-trust. You learn that you are more capable than your fears admit. That setbacks are not stop signs, they're signposts pointing toward deeper understanding. So why does your motivation die after 30 days? Because you were waiting for a feeling instead of building a system. Because you focused on the outcome instead of the identity. Because you treated change like a sprint instead of a sacred pilgrimage. But today, right now, you can choose differently. You can stop chasing motivation and start cultivating mastery. You can replace wishful thinking with unwavering structure. You can anchor yourself not in how you feel, but in who you've decided to become. The fire you felt on day one, it wasn't gone. It was waiting for you to build the altar worthy of its flame. Now go build it. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, but now with the next breath, the next step, the next choice, because the world doesn't need more people who start strong. It needs people who finish what they start. People who understand that true power isn't found in the spark, but in the steady, unrelenting burn of a life lived on purpose. And that life, it begins the moment you decide, this time, I don't quit.